channel. I don't really know what to title this video. Car Rides Friday. Fridays with Dad. Car conversations? I don't know. Anyway, today we are going to talk about emotion. I don't really know how to start this, so I just kind of like Googled questions that we are going to answer. Is that okay?
Sure.
Are you a sensitive person? Are you more emotional or less emotional than other people? And what makes you think so? Am I a sensitive person? By sensitive, what do you mean sensitive? Like sensitive,
I think
like,
you get affected right away. You immediately feel a certain amount of emotion given certain situations.
it depends. But say, for example, remember how I was like telling you that I don't like watching movies about animals? Because I get affected easily. Like if an animal dies and stuff, I really get emotional. Just that. But if I am more emotional or less emotional than other people, I'm not so sure. Probably not. I give myself a good cry when I need to, but I don't like cry all the time.
But sometimes people say you're sensitive in a negative way, because that's the positive way of being sensitive.
Oh.
Another way, she's too sensitive.
Oh, like,
yeah.
You mean like when somebody jokes?
Yeah, or you take things too personally.
You get offended
You
easily?
get offended
Oh, no,
easily.
I'm not. I don't get offended.
So on the positive side, yes. On the negative side, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm practically the same thing. I don't get offended very easily. There was a time I used to be easily affected, but I think it comes of age.
Yeah.
You don't let so many things bother you so easily. You don't take offense quite easily. Some people mature, but they are not really that old yet. But some people are old, but they haven't matured. So on the positive note, yes, I would consider myself a little bit sensitive when it comes to things. A book, movie, a touching story, I could easily relate. I was actually probably one of the few who cried watching The Patriot by Mel Gibson. So that's rare.
And there's another thing to like being sensitive of other people's feelings. I guess I am that. Like, I don't know if this will make sense, but I can tell if a person is annoyed or if a person is not comfortable.
I think it's just being considerate, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, your sensitivity to it, like you recognize it right away. Can you control your emotions well?
I'll go first. Negative emotions, it's difficult. When I get upset, it shows. I'm all red. So, and if I'm disappointed, so I am emotionally very transparent. So it's easy for people to see. And I make a distinction. When I'm angry, I show it. When I'm happy, I show it. So I don't let people guess if I'm happy or not. So I don't like it also when I have to guess sometimes when people are okay or not.
Yeah.
So I like it to be very clear, because I use, let's say, this words, this tone, this gesture when I'm okay, and I don't use it if I'm not okay. So because it gets confusing for people when you use okay when you're not okay, and then you have the same text message or the same facial expression and when you're not okay, and it's confusing. So I don't confuse people, and I don't like to be confused. So so I'm quite transparent if I'm happy and if I'm upset.
I think I can control my emotions well. When I'm happy, I really show it. When I'm upset, it depends on where I am. Like if I'm with other people, say for example you're on a trip and you got upset with one of your kasama, I don't show it. I just try to try to get over it, because you're on a trip, you're on a vacation, and you're
You just
creating
don't
all
want to
this
ruin it.
drama. Yeah, no.
But wouldn't it be better if you put it out there and leave it in the open so that it could be resolved right away? Because let's say, for example, you're not able to discuss it.
Mhm.
You have a 5-day trip. So on the first day of the trip, you felt bad. So you would feel that way for the rest of the 5 days.
The thing with me is I get over things easily, so it's not really an issue. And if it is like something that's really bothering me, I just talk to the person.
Yeah. So eventually, so you don't want a drama on that specific time for everyone to feel good.
To
But
see,
yeah, but eventually, before the sun goes down, you talk to the person and
the
settles it.
person, just a person.
Yeah, that's okay. That's good. Because I was thinking, you're not, you're just going to keep it to yourself.
Well, if it's not that big of a deal, I do keep it to myself. But I just don't go with them the next time.
Yeah, so the
No.
penalty is just too
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
So
that's not good.
that's not good. It's not fair.
Yeah, it's
And
not
sometimes you feel bad about what something people do that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They just need
or
to know.
misunderstood, or it's interpreted the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not nice. of
Yes,
me.
it's not nice.
I'm sorry. When are emotions a problem?
I think even when it's positive, they say never speak
yeah.
when you're angry,
Yeah.
and never buy anything when you're happy,
Or promise anything when you're
or promise anything when you're happy.
Yeah.
So it's difficult if you let emotion get the better of you
Yeah.
in any situation, good or bad.
Yeah. Are you generally a positive person or a negative person?
I am positively positive.
Yeah, me too. I like positive things.
It's easy actually to look at things negatively.
Mhm.
It's easy to have a negative point of view.
Yeah.
So it's harder to keep yourself positive about things. So it's choosing to do what's difficult. It's choosing to do what is more beneficial.
Yeah. Because I mean, life is short. Why
Yes.
would you stress yourself out? Dwelling on all.
Some
like,
people, they do that when they have already given up. So it gives them a good excuse for giving up, because I couldn't handle this anymore, so that's why I'm giving up.
They don't have friends.
It's possible that they don't have friends. It's possible that they don't have any other options. So yeah, that could be one of the reasons.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. And hope is something amazing. With it, you can stay strong for a longer period of time. Without it, you don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
So hope is actually just being positive.
Do you find it easy to explain your feelings to another person? If not, why is it difficult?
I don't think so. I find it easy. I just be honest about it.
Yeah.
The problem with people who have difficulty expressing their emotions is
They're not
they
honest.
have been, over the years, taught to keep their emotions to themselves.
They have what?
Kept their emotions to themselves. When you ask a boy, don't cry, because a boy don't cry.
What's
So
that?
you're actually teaching that person to suppress their emotions, or not to be honest about what they feel.
Yeah.
So by doing that, you're raising up kids who are not honest about what they feel.
Yeah.
And it may seem right, but in the long run, it's not beneficial.
Well, I used to find it difficult to explain my feelings to another person, but only because I am not really used to talking about it. I didn't have people to talk to about how I feel, and I don't also talk to a lot of people.
And mostly people don't say, I think, what they feel, for
Yeah.
fear that the person that they're telling it to wouldn't understand it, whether good or bad. Sometimes people don't understand, why are you angry? It's so simple.
Yeah.
Or why are you so happy? Why, it's just a phone call, or it's just a piece of chocolate. Why are you so happy? Different people have different levels of what makes them happy and what makes them sad.
Yeah.
And we have a tendency sometimes to think that, if this makes me sad, other people also would feel sad about this. Of course, there are certain true things about that. You lost your job, you will be as lonely as everybody else. But some people would have a different degree of sadness. So some would have a greater or lesser degree of sadness. But still, it's true to everyone. But there are certain things that, people are much better at. Let's say getting bankrupt. Some people, would hang themselves because of it.
Yeah.
Some people, would try again. So it's different, and we cannot expect people to feel the same way that we feel. We have to really ask and be curious about, is this what you feel? Are you sad? Are you happy?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess people just need someone to really talk to, someone to just really listen to them and stuff. But yeah, I don't remember when I started opening up. It's probably because from watching or listening to podcasts about being yourself, like opening up and stuff like that. And you're always encouraging me to open up, to communicate, which I see as something that's really important,
it also helps people to validate their emotions.
Yeah.
And realize that, hey, I'm crying over something not so important, because sometimes it's just a knee-jerk reaction about it happens and you just cry out.
Yeah.
And then you realize, hey, it's not a big deal after all, after you think about it, or after you say, why are you crying? So the sooner though we realize how big or how small it is that we're really crying over,
Yeah.
then we realize now, oh, okay, this is worth it, or it's not worth it at all.
Yeah. What makes you feel very good?
It's doing what I love to do. I think that's true also for everyone,
Yes.
but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But those are the things I think is true for everybody else. If they like what they're doing, they would be happy.
And they're appreciated.
And they appreciate it. And for me also, happiness is not only what you get, but what you're able to give. If you make other people happy, you become
feel
happy
good.
also. You feel good.
Yeah.
You feel good about it, and it helps. And some people don't discover that joy of making other people happy.
Yeah.
And when they experience it, it becomes a little addictive.
Yeah. Well, I personally love to help people. And if they let me help them or they ask me to help them out, I'm like, oh, okay. It makes me happy as well. And also whenever I get to play my games, it makes me feel very good.
The games are actually designed to make you feel like that.
Yeah. I love games.
It gives games actually give you small, victories, small successes along the way, and it celebrates with you. When Mario raises his fist after he beats the boss. I forgot his name. That turtle.
King Koopa. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so whenever you win, they celebrate it with you, even if there's no one around.
Yeah.
You can see confetti, you can see, yay.
Yeah.
So it feels good. So
Then when you beat the enemy,
yeah, games are good. It makes them actually one of the best games are those that makes it difficult, so it's worth the win, because you just don't want to win so easy. What makes people happy is that you make the effort and you succeed. So when you make the effort of helping someone and they're happy about it, you succeed. So in the game also, if it's the there's a challenge in the game and then you overcome that, you feel good about it.
Yeah. That's why I love the game. It makes me feel
Games.
good. Is there a limit to how often we can feel good? Like, in other words, if you feel good now, does that mean you will feel bad sometime later?
For me personally, feeling good is about focus. I remember this quotation. Two prisoners looked out their prison window. Both of them are in prison. Both of them look out the window, the same prison window, but one looked at the stars, the other one saw the ground. Looking from the same place, looking from the same point of view, but choosing to have a different vantage point is what's the difference between those two prisoners.
Yeah.
The other one looked at how bad the situation is. The other one looked at the possibility of his situation.
Yeah.
So same thing, especially now during our pandemic. Most people would look and see their situation and they would feel helpless, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody does, you know.
Yeah.
To be honest, there are moments, but the difference is how much time do you want to spend looking at what's wrong rather than what could go right. So if you spend 50-50, then you will be happy 50-50.
Yeah.
If you think 70% of what's good and 30% of what's bad, then you'll be happier. And
Yeah.
the opposite will be true.
Me, also, personally, I don't think there's a limit to how often you can feel good. Like, feeling bad is mostly a choice.
Yes. It's
You
what
know.
you choose to focus on.
Yeah. Sometimes of course, sometimes if like you're the kind of person who can't really control your emotions, you know, you'd easily feel bad, and you can feel it. You can let that emotion, you know, just feel it. But always deciding to like snap out of it and move on. Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Is sadness always a bad feeling? Are there good types of sadness and bad types of sadness? I guess
What do you think?
It comes back to like the first, was it the first question? About the dog that I said. You said it's like a positive
It's being
type
sensitive.
of being sensitive. So I guess it's like that as well. Like, if you get sad over something that, say for example, you saw an animal and you got sad, or you someone in your family is sick and you got sad, or you did something bad and you got sad, I feel like that's like a kind of like good, because you feel it. There's like some sort of a remorse to it. Unlike if you don't feel sad when you did something bad, or you don't feel, you know, like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I can feel sad about, you know, sad things. You know, being sensitive about it, being considerate about it. But I would focus on something else.
Maybe being sad is not bad. It's just that staying sad is.
I think that's a correct way of, you know, capping it all up.
Because like
There's nothing wrong about
being sad.
being sad or being afraid or having negative emotion or
Yeah.
negative thoughts.
Yeah.
It's choosing to stay there that makes
Yeah.
it horrible.
If you're feeling down, how do you make yourself feel better?
The best that works for me is actually stepping back.
What do you mean?
When there's certain things I'm doing that you know, isn't making me happy, I just stop it for a while. Pick something else that makes me happy. So, you know, choosing not to continue on with what you're doing that's not making you happy. Let's say there's a certain chores that, you know, I feel bored of doing, so, or you know, I don't like doing, but no one's going to do it. So rather than doing it for 5 hours na I'm not happy straight, I would stop, let's say, after 2.5 hours of being upset about it, and then fill my time doing something that I like,
Yeah.
and then come back to it. When I was young, we would create a model of certain things, and sometimes it's difficult to put them all together, or you know, it breaks into pieces in a wrong way, and there are instances that, you know, I've thrown it away. so it breaks even more. So I don't think about it. I do something else. I do some drawings, because before there were no Facebook, Instagram, or social networking. So I listen to the radio, watch television, and after I'm feeling much better, I picked up the pieces and put it all
That you
together.
threw.
Yeah, that I choose and put it back together. So it's choosing not to fill your day with things are bad. So that's how I manage it.
I would just listen to songs, worship songs, and I used to do journaling, but not anymore. I would rather just like let myself rest, or sometimes I would just play
Yeah,
because I love to play.
that's a good reaction.
Yeah. What makes you feel nervous, and how do you calm your nerves? Can I start?
Yeah, you can.
What makes me feel nervous is when I am about to do something that I've never done before, like driving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I've done it before, but like not on a highway. And also when I need to like talk to other people,
Mm-hmm.
people that I do not know, or people that I'm not really familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel nervous. How I calm myself with driving, the funny thing is that when I'm driving, I don't feel nervous.
Mm-hmm.
It's before I drive and after I drive. That's where it comes. It's like, like, oh my gosh, I shake. But with like talking to people, how I calm myself is that I practice what I'm about to say, and I try to understand what I really wanted to say, so I know what I'm gonna say. Like, I don't know why I'm scared of people. I don't know why I'm scared of like talking to people, but yeah, that's what makes me feel nervous.
Usually what gets me nervous are doing things also that I haven't done before, but things I'm not prepared for. There's a lot of things that I haven't done before.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be afraid about each one of them, I will be very afraid to try something new.
Yeah.
So I've never been afraid of doing things new anymore, except that still it makes me nervous because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So what I do to calm my nerves is I try to know as much as I can about it.
Yeah.
So the more that I know about it, the more relaxed I am, because somehow there's a little bit more confident. You get more confident knowing that if this happens, I know what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
So it's really managing the situation to the best possible ways that you can in order to avoid embarrassing yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Do people know how you feel by looking at your face? Oh, you've answered this.
Yeah.
Are you good at hiding your emotions? You're not. You're
Very transparent. But there are times that I'm able to do it, but I don't think I'm good at it. Because I try to be very transparent about what I feel.
Yeah.
But of course, you cannot just show contempt with other people you just met. So I try as much as possible not to show it to them. You reveal yourself also, of course, to people that matters.
Yeah.
You just don't tell people. I remember that there's this anecdote. When you're happy, don't make a lot of noise, and when you're sad, you don't really need to bury yourself on the ground. You have to pick yourself up. So it's really your choice.
To people very close to me, they always know, because I don't like ruining the moment. I don't like creating drama and stuff like that. So as much as possible, I don't want to show it. I just try to get over it, accept the situation and get over it. But people who are close to me, they know when I am not comfortable. They know when I don't like the situation. They know. There are certain people where I just couldn't hide my emotions to. They know it by just looking at my face. Hazel is one. What is the best way to deal with feelings of anger?
For me, deep breath, count to 10.
Count to 10.
That's the best way to handle it. There was one time I was driving and I was so irritated by how someone riding a bicycle, weaving itself, irresponsibly around. I opened my window, give him a scolding, and I saw his face. He was so afraid. And after doing that, I realized that I shouldn't have been angry. Of course, I wanted people to be safe, but being angry is not the best response to them. I have a shift of focus, and I was thinking, these people, they just want to go home. They just want to get through their day. And I'm getting home in a car, air-conditioned, comfortably, and they're riding a bike, sweating it out.
Yeah,
then
after a long day of work.
After long days of work. And when I put myself in that situation, my problem about, getting hit, accident, or, having difficulty driving with them beside me, all of a sudden just, disappeared. I wasn't so upset anymore. So I think that's what we can do to manage also our anger. Shift the focus. Why am I angry? What am I angry about? And is there another situation? There's a story about a couple who was interviewed. How come you don't fight anymore? How come you were married so long? And then the woman said that I've always tried to focus on what is positive. Let's say I asked him to throw the trash and he didn't throw the trash. So I have two options. One is that to think that he didn't want to do it. Okay? So he didn't want to help me out. So that's negative. Or I could think that he's tired or he's old, he forgot.
Yeah.
So those are two possible options which could be true or untrue, but still you have a choice which one you focus. And when you focus on what doesn't offend you, then it's a lot easier to manage that anger. So you don't fight. So whenever someone don't reply to your text right away, or wasn't able to read it properly and was making senseless replies, of course you can get upset because it's just natural. But what's the reason are this person not replying properly? What are they doing? So if they're talking to someone they haven't talked to in 15 years, maybe that explains it a little bit. So but still, it's a choice. It's easy to feel bad, especially when we become possessive of someone. We want most of their time as much as possible. But there are situations, of course, either work or they're in jail.
They're in jail?
Yeah, unavoidable situations. They cannot spend time with you. So there are this situation, and you have a choice to understand.
Well, I'm guilty of that. Because I feel like that's one of the things that you have been teaching me. I'm trying, Dad.
I'm
trying
actually
really hard to every time I get upset with someone or something, I would just okay, wait. Sometimes I just react and then I would realize it. Oh gosh, what if But what you always tell me, it's easier to think positively of people, especially the ones that you love and the ones that loves you, because they would never do anything to hurt you, intentionally do it. Maybe they're just busy, maybe they're in jail.
No, because the question is always, is what I'm thinking consistent with the person that I know this is?
Yeah.
Those are the times na I get upset about someone. It's not that I'm upset because they got upset. I'm upset that they don't know me well enough when they should. It's like someone bringing you Coca-Cola. Before it was okay, but someone who haven't known you for the last year or two, probably you will give me Coca-Cola. And when you come to me, let's say you, for example, you brought ice cold Coca-Cola. Dad, right now, I would be very disappointed. I should be happy, but I should be disappointed. It's like you don't know me and I've stopped drinking Coca-Cola anymore, soda at all. I mean, don't you know me at all? so it's more of that emotion rather than being angry about the action. And sometimes I'm guilty of that a lot with people that are close to me, because if you know me, you know what I am expecting or what I'm looking for. I think it has something to do with knowing the person intimately, that you understand them better.
It's something that I still need to work on.
I was almost cut you off kanina because when I was having a talk with Zarina, and we were talking about, you know, lessons that she learned from me and those things, and immediately she mentioned something that I've always, you know, something I always kept this in mind. I mean, you know, don't worry, people don't understand you.
Oh, it's
Worry.
the same for me, Dad.
You worry if you're not being understanding.
Yeah, it's the same for me.
And I always do that. So it don't really matter if people don't understand what I'm doing. But the important thing is I understand them for not understanding. So it all eventually all falls to us. Kasi we cannot, you know, control what people do.
Yeah.
But we can control how we respond to what they do. And choosing to respond properly is always the best way to do it.
And another thing that has really like engraved in me, one of the things that you told me, probably one of the first things that you told me, don't fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
Or
Sure.
no, I think what was it that you no? If one becomes the fire, the other one has to be the water.
Yes. Because it's difficult when someone is already upset and you become upset because they're upset, and it's not gonna get solved. So
Everybody's upset.
If someone's upset, you know, even if you wanted to get upset, you know, you keep it to yourself first. You know, I'll fix your problem first, and then after you, you know, it's my turn. So it's something like that.
Which is more powerful between feelings of love and feelings of hate?
I think both are very strong. It just pulls you in two different directions.
Yeah.
Like fear and courage. Courage, you know, takes you 100 kilometers per hour forward.
Yeah.
And fear brings you 100 kilometers backward. So I think that's the same thing with love and
like
hate.
Opposite direction.
Just opposite direction. It's able to bring you further, but in different directions. It works the same way. Depends on your valve.
Yeah.
Because some people, they love less, they get love less also. They hate less, they get hate less, which is wonderful. Some people love more, so they get loved more.
Some people love more and they don't get love more.
Not necessarily. It's I do believe na
It's a joke.
no, it's true for a lot of people. They feel that, you know, they love 100% and they don't get it. But it depends on who you're looking for to get it from. The problem is people look for it from different sources, or from sources that are incapable of giving it back to them. So that's why the rule is not, you know, it's not 50-50. It's 70-30 or 60-40 or even better, 90-10. Give 90% and expect 10% back. The problem is that people gives 50% and expect 50% back. So 50-50, but that's not practical.
But there's another lesson I remember you taught me. I don't remember exactly the words that you said, but it's something about when you love someone, it doesn't really matter if you get that love back.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it would be good,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't really matter because you love them and.
And love is it's about giving. It's not
Yeah.
about getting. So
Yeah. So I think, I don't know, maybe love is more powerful
I think it is
because it
more,
saved the world.
uh,
It saved humanity.
well, hate and jealousy actually brought it
Ruined
to
it.
ruin. So
Yeah, but it was
you-
conquered by love.
yeah, it's conquered by love. Yeah, I guess so. You can say that love is
Love is-
more powerful.
Yeah,
it's-
God's love is.
At least God's love is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can agree on that.
Yeah.
But for us as a person, with the limited capacity to love,
Yeah.
and with all our faults, that might not be true. But
Do we have a limited
Still.
capacity to love?
because admit it or not, there are times now we get jealous, or sometimes we get irritated even by the very person who we say no we love. How could
Jealous probably, but like irritated.
To some people, a certain action could be irritating. It's just, let's say, the toilet seat. There are a lot of people who have fought over toilet seats.
Why?
Or toothpaste cup,
The lid.
or this person pushes the tube from the middle, not from the end.
I remember that one time they had the, what was that seminar at church, Portrait of Marriage,
Mhm.
and I think I was asked to like be one of the documentation,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was that was discussed.
Yeah, because there are small things, because you're two different person trying to be one. It's difficult.
Yeah, but they told.
But relationships is always like that.
yeah,
You have a way of doing things. Some people, they're very happy when everything is disorganized and stable. Some people cannot even stand
yeah.
close somewhere na it's annoying. How could you live in this room? Or how could you live in this office? How could you live in this environment? And some people say, what's wrong? So because people have different way of doing things, and
Yeah.
it's when we begin to impose how another person do the things that frustration happens. Because if I were you, I would do this to this person,
But you're not me.
but you're not me.
Sorry.
So that's where the problem happens.
Yeah, but like if you really love each other, be considerate each other, at least meet halfway.
Yeah, but that working halfway takes time.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it will happen.
Eventually it will happen.
You just need to be very patient with each other.
And sometimes, you catch someone in their off day when they're very upset, when
Yeah.
they're very tired.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't work.
Yeah, but the thing is, things like simple as that, like the toothpaste, where they start pressing,
Mm.
or the toilet seat, it's something that's very, I'm sorry, no offense, shallow
For you.
for me.
For you. Again, that's how you would think. And again, other people would think differently. So it's when you try to impose to some people who finds forgiveness very easy, it's they couldn't understand why someone couldn't just forgive someone from doing things.
No, it works both ways. Like that's something that's so shallow. Why can't you just do it the way the other person do it? Because I mean, it would look good. It would look nice.
Again, that's easy for you. To some people, waking up early is easy.
Yeah.
To some people, waking up early
It's
is
not,
very difficult for them.
Yeah.
It makes them grumpy.
Mhm.
So, are they bad person?
No.
Of course not. So,
No.
so the person pushing the toothpaste from the middle and then putting it in the end doesn't make them a bad person or a good
No,
person.
yeah,
Again, so
no.
pero how you rub the person the wrong way it happens, and it is a work between both of them to make it work. Either the other person changes or the other person understands more.
Yeah.
You couldn't force it on anyone.
Yeah.
And whoever loves the most is the one who adjusts.
Yeah.
That's always the case. Because if you love someone so much, you will do things that you couldn't do before.
Wow.
And that's what makes it, worth the effort, going the extra mile for them.
The things you do for love.
The things you do for love.
But like, say for example, me, whenever I'm with like another person, say I will have a sleepover at, say for example, Hazel's.
Mm-hmm.
I will observe how she does things, like where she puts the shoes, how she do it, and I would do the same because it's her house.
But again, that's you. Another person wouldn't care.
But that's being considerate.
Yeah, I
and
know, but
polite.
different people will have a different way of doing things simply because they were brought up differently. So sometimes that's where the complication happen. We have a certain expectation.
Yeah.
It's because I do this, everyone should do it. That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Yeah.
You cannot expect people to do that because to them it might not come naturally. Like I mentioned also, forgiveness is simple things. For me, it's too easy. Probably for you, that would be also very easy. But there are people, I cannot forgive him for taking the 5 centavos when we were in grade 1. So,
Sorry guys, we got cut off because my phone is full.
because you're probably using a very high resolution. It doesn't have to be high res, but of course, it is nice that it is high res.
I should check the settings.
Yeah, you should set that.
Okay.
Anyway, what I was saying earlier is about forgiveness. Some people like you or me probably find forgiveness very easy.
Yeah.
But to some people, forgiveness is something they have difficulty doing. They become prisoners of their hate, of their unforgiveness for a long time.
Yeah.
Throughout their life probably, and you would start to think, how come this person doesn't understand that their unforgiving heart is making this difficult for them?
Yeah.
And if the sooner they forgive, the sooner they'll be free. And it's easy for you, but for some other people that's not easy. So one thing I've also learned, that what I consider to be easy is not necessarily easy for someone. And what's hard for them might not necessarily be hard for me.
Yeah.
So it's just tit for tat. It's to each his own.
Yeah.
To some people, eating spicy food might be something that they hate, but it's something that we love to eat.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that they're bad persons for not liking. So some people are cat persons, some other are dog persons, some person are every pet person. So
Every pet person.
so it's different. So it's understanding them for their uniqueness, accepting them for their uniqueness. Uniqueness is what makes us better.
Yeah. Can you easily tell how other people are feeling, and how useful do you think is this ability?
Have you watched Big Bang Theory?
The series?
The comedy, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. See, Sheldon, he's a genius, but he finds it difficult to understand sarcasm. So, to some people, reading someone else is easy because they are observant. Some people, are having a hard time because they're not observant.
Yeah.
So, by not being observant doesn't make you a bad person. It's just that not how you are.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, can you?
Yes. So for me, it's easy because I observe people. I look at their face, their eyes, their tone of voice, when they're happy, when they're sad, and when they're upset. So there's a corresponding image or audio or sound for a certain emotion. And when I see this face or I hear this voice, then I know that the person is either happy or sad depending on what they say. So that's why, I'm having difficulty with someone na yung mataas laging boses, because you don't know if there's no distinction between whether they're upset or not. That's how it is. That's how I try to understand the next person. But of course, you can only do that to someone that you have been for a long time, because you met someone only for the first time or several times, you might not understand what they're feeling.
With me, I can easily tell how other people are feeling because I'm also very observant. It's very useful in a way that is like, say for example, that they're not having you can tell that they're not having a good day. So you know when to joke around, or you know when to ask them about things, or if the things that you're about to ask will make them upset and stuff like that. So it's very useful. So you get to comfort them as well, or you get to just give them their moment, But yeah, I can easily tell if people are.
There are certain topics that make someone upset or not upset. But for me, if the topic is important for me to discuss or for you to know, it doesn't matter for me whether you're going to be upset or not. I'll tell you.
Even if the other person is having a bad day?
Well, I'll probably pick a better day to say it. But
yeah.
What I mean is, when someone needs to hear something, for me, it doesn't really matter how I say it, because they would take it negatively anyway. So might as well let them know rather than they don't know. Because I believe a true friend or someone who cares for you would want to correct you.
Yeah.
So if they don't say a word about certain things that could improve you or making it difficult for you,
they don't care.
They don't care. And when they don't care, it's when the problem happens.
Maybe you can just talk to them when they're feeling a little bit okay, at least.
Yeah, I think so. That's always the best.
Yeah. What is emotional intelligence, and how emotionally intelligent are you?
Oh, that's difficult for me to say that about myself.
Well, I've seen I've heard, not emotional intelligence, emotional quotient. It's one of the lessons that I learned from Kuya Jordan. This is the first thing that he told me I should have. He said something like, it's not just the IQ, but more importantly the EQ as well. You have your emotional quotient should be high. That's what he told me, and it makes perfect sense,
Yeah, it does. But knowing your own emotional quotient,
I don't really know.
Well, it's really other people to say, because they're the one affected by it. Because your EQ doesn't really, affect you directly.
Yeah.
It benefits you, but it doesn't affects you directly. It's those around you who would notice it. So for me, it's just that it really comes of age, because the more that you know about the world and how difficult, challenging, and how much effort it takes to get through from one day to the next, and understanding the different challenges that people face in their life, and how they're trying to cope up. It's only the time that you can truly understand. The reason sometimes that we don't understand is because we know so little. And the more that we know, the better it is for us. So the older that you get, katulad na lang sa government, some people are so angry about the government and how they're doing this. If they know about project management, about leadership, about governance, and about government fundings and budget, they would understand that most of the things that they're complaining about is not something that's just immediately something that the president or the government can do about. So it's a process, and they don't understand that because they don't understand the process.
Yeah.
And when they get older, and or when they start reading,
Yeah.
when they understand about leadership and the burden of leadership, that's the only time they say, that's the reason that person did that.
Yeah.
And sometimes in our life, you don't understand why these people is saying this. Why is these people doing this?
Yeah.
But when you become more mature, you understand, this consideration.
Yeah.
You know, if he doesn't do this, then he wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have this, then it's bad for both of us.
Yeah.
So that's the difficulty na, what would you want? Nothing or something?
Yeah.
So to some people, when they understand na it's for their benefit, it's for their own good, they're more understanding.
Yeah. Good judgment always requires a broad picture.
Yes, and sometimes the broad picture can only be painted when you take time to have a good look at everything else.
Yeah.
Not only from your point of view, but you must be able to step back. How does this look like from the other side?
Yeah.
That's when you get a better picture.
Yeah. Any parting words?
It's good to be emotional.
Yeah.
It's good to express yourself. Communicating is always the best. Even if it hurts, be honest. Even if it leads to an inconvenience or discomfort.
Yeah.
Because being honest about how you feel is always worth it.
Yeah. And another thing that I learned from you is that when you're being honest, you don't really have to worry because your friends would always understand.
Yes. Yeah.
And
That's
other
Jackie
people.
Kennedy Onassis.
Other
That's his
people.
quote. She said, "Do not explain. Your friends won't need it. Your enemy won't believe it." So,
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this car conversation.
we'll think about it, how to do it.
Yeah,
how to
because
call
right
it.
now I don't really know how to start it, but it has been a good learning once again from
Experience.
my daddy. And yeah, hope you learned something as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're boring you already, so
Yeah, so we'll see you guys next
this
time.
taking so long. Okay,
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.